David, your film makes it clear that there really is a risk to our electric grid, and there are dire consequences if we don't address it. Now, I've written about that in both my books. I was inside the Pentagon. I talked to the admirals and generals about the risk. No one had the answer a dozen years ago. Tell us, how serious would a grid failure be to America?
So this failure truly is could kill between 75% to 90% of American citizens.
Stop a second. 3/4 to 90% of Americans could die if we don't have electricity.
Correct. When you look at what is required to live, we need air for 3 minutes, water for 3 days. Electricity is probably just as important after water. And actually, you could argue that you need electricity more than water because water is generated from electricity. Our municipal water system requires electricity.
So you can't survive more than 3 minutes without air. You can't survive more than 3 days without water. And really, past a certain point, you can't survive without electricity, at least in modern society.
Exactly. So where that 75% to 90% came from is a commission called the EMP Commission that was mandated by Congress. It operated for 17 years. It was staffed by some of the smartest scientists in the country. And they studied this phenomena, what life would be like without electricity.
Yep.
So you can imagine you don't have water, you don't have food coming back in. You have neighbors breaking in to your house because they realize their 8-year-old is dying, and therefore they see that you have food. You have people from various parts of the city are coming in. It could truly be chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And Peter Pry was part of that commission. I know Dr. Pry is a phenomenal guy. Well, let's watch the opening from your movie Grid Down, and then we'll talk about it.
You ever stop and realize how fragile all this is? Wouldn't take much to throw us right back into barbaric times. All you'd have to do would be eliminate electricity.
New York, one of the biggest cities in the world, plunges into darkness in the blink of an eye. It's just after 4 p.m. on August 14th, 2003, and an unthinkable disaster becomes reality. A cascade of power failures shuts down electricity in southeast Canada and across 8 northeastern states. Cities like New York are brought to a complete standstill. Hundreds of people are trapped in subway tunnels, while the traffic above becomes a nightmare of gridlock. In all, 55 million people lost power for up to 2 days. The main culprit? A sagging high-voltage power line in northern Ohio that brushed up against an overgrown tree. Just listen to esteemed U.S. Senator Angus King in questioning the CEO of the primary regulator for the electric utility industry.
There's a weird calmness about this hearing. This is not calm. The Russians are already in the grid. This is not a threat. This is happening. We are under attack. We are in a very dangerous place. I just think this has to be an emergency, an urgent situation.
Wow, an emergency situation. That's what he said. It's urgent.